Hello Internet, so I am back. I am doing another video today where we've got our Machinist X99 motherboard. Now in the last video I unboxed it, and since then I'm actually more impressed with the motherboard than I first thought. So we've picked up a really cheap Xeon off of eBay. Now that cost £20 for a 6 core. Now at default it's set to 2.4 gigahertz boost, which isn't that great. However, what we can do, we can modify the BIOS so we can unlock the full, I think it's 3.2 gigahertz. Now I'll take you over the test system we got here. For the graphics card, we've got an RX 480, which is a brilliant graphics card for the price. You can pick these up on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace nowadays for under £100. So don't want to spend too much on a graphics card, especially when we're spending so little on the actual motherboard and processor. So I've got Windows installed, and we're going to be doing a baseline without overclocking, so we can see what sort of FPS we get, or we got Fortnite installing so we can see what FPS we get, and also a couple of Cinebench runs just to see what we get at our base speed. Okay, so while I've got everything installed in, I thought I'd walk you around the test bench. So there we have our £20 6-core Xeon, which is a 2620 V3. We've got 8 gigs of DDR4 Vengeance, which has actually come out of my main computer over there. So overkill on the RAM, but it's all I had lying around. And we've got the RX 480 for our power supply. We've just got an EVGA, I think it's a 600 watt PSU. Again, it's not a modular or anything, I just use this for testing purposes. I think this cost around 30 quid. So for cooling, I've gone with the Arctic, what is this, an Arctic Alpine 11 Pro. So this cost about, I think it was about £10 on Amazon. And we went with an air cooler because if you're spending so little on a CPU and motherboard, this is really going to be a mega budget build. So we've obviously gone for an air cooler rather than spending loads on an AIO. Okay, so let's run a couple of Cinebenches. So this is with no overclock at the moment, so we've just got our 2.4 gigahertz 6-core 12 threads. Aha, so here we go. We've got a pretty low score. We got 1843, so not the best. That puts it, look, actually, not far off an i7 7700K. Well, actually it is quite far off 7700K, but we're above an i7 6700 HQ. So what we do is we'll run Fortnite quickly. Let's just see what average frame rate we get. So this game, we're going to be probably GPU bound anyway, because our GPU is currently at 100%. Our CPU load is only actually 30%, and our frame rate it's around 65 FPS. So I think we're going to be limited by our actual GPU. Okay, so to summarise, we've got everything at stock at the moment. We're at 2.4 gigahertz, but our GPU is currently running under full load, and our CPU is only actually around 37%. And now our frame rate on Fortnite is around 70 FPS, which is, again, if you're only using a 60 Hz monitor and you're only at 1080p, this is going to run fine. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bump that clock speed up from 2.4 to 3.2 gigahertz. But to do that, we actually need to modify our BIOS. Okay, so I thought I'd do a quick update. I've got Tech Yes City giving me some loving on this screen, showing me exactly how we unlock the BIOS on our Machinist motherboard, because we need to actually flash the BIOS and delete some microcode so we can actually unlock our 2620 V3 for overclocking goodness. Okay, so we are back. It took me a good 4 hours to finally get this done, but we have now unlocked our processor to the full 3.2 gigahertz. So before, from the box, they will not go above 2.4 gigahertz, but we've done the BIOS mod. So a big shout out to Tech Yes City, who done the full run through on how to actually do this and had all the files and links in his description. So that works really well. So we've now got our CPU boosting up to 3.2 gigahertz. So let's go ahead and run some tests and see what we find different from before. We've got our new Cinebench score, 2199, which is better than we had before, which was what, 1843. But again, you don't buy this processor to run, you know, rendering applications. So we obviously bought this for a cheap gaming setup. So let's go ahead, we run Fortnite again and see if we get an improvement. Okay, so just running around in the menu here, we're getting 70, 80 FPS, which is good. So just in the menu here, we're still getting like 80 FPS, which is more than enough. I didn't think it's going to be too much higher than before, because we can see that we are GPU bound anyway. We're at 100% GPU compared to like 30% on the CPU. So we're actually bottlenecked by our graphics card, but it looks like we're still getting, you know, over 60 FPS. Up to about 80 FPS, which again is more than playable for a game like this, especially if you're only playing on a, you know, a 1080p monitor. So maybe if you were to put in a better graphics card, again that FPS would go up. Okay, so I've done a few tests and basically Fortnite is playable, and it's more than playable. We're hitting about 80 FPS. Now I had a look at another review online of the 3300X, which is £120 to begin with. That's just for the processor. They need a motherboard, which is maybe, I don't know, £70 for a B450. Then you need obviously the DDR4, but you also need that for this anyway. So the processor that we got cost £20, that's it. The motherboard, if you can find a cheaper one on Aliexpress, then it's an even better deal. This one costs 62 quid. Plus £11 for the bringing it in the country. So we're looking at under £100 for our motherboard and processor. Now we've thrown in an RX 480, and again this graphics card is, you can find them for under £100. So all in, a good gaming computer, we're under say 250 quid. Okay, so there's one thing I need to quickly add into this video here, is that prices at the moment for computer parts are up. Now that is obviously because it's currently June of 2020 and there is a global problem going on at the moment, which you're obviously aware of. So remember, prices are up, so used parts are up. Prices on AliExpress are also probably up as well. So once obviously this all settles down, prices will come back down. So depending on when you're watching this video, the prices will be very different. So just thought I'd add that in. We've got a power supply, which I think costs about £30. It's not a modular one, you know, it's nothing special, but it does the job. Then we've got an SSD, because I really don't like installing Windows anymore on a hard drive. Just no point doing it. Get a cheap SSD, put your Windows drive on it. You can get, I don't know, 120 gig SSD now for I don't know, what are they, like 30 odd quid. So the memory is going to be the most expensive. DDR4 at the moment is quite expensive, but you can get cheaper value kits, which again, if you're buying a cheap motherboard, cheap processor, I would just get some sort of value kit. Now, would I buy this setup for myself? No. Now, my computer back there costs way more than this, and if I was maybe building a second computer that I wanted maybe in the garage as a little gaming computer, or maybe in like an office or a summer house or something that I can play games on and also you know, just use it as a regular computer, you know, probably just going to build something like this. So thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos about the Chinese motherboard and the, you know, mega cheap Intel Xeons, you know, like, comment and check out some of my other videos.